Bitcoin just hit $100,000. Here is what I think happens to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the crypto market next. There are a few important questions I want to answer today for the new audience coming into crypto. Number one, is the Bitcoin top in? Are you too late to buy Bitcoin at 100K? How much more upside is there and how much downside can you expect for volatility? Number two, what part of the crypto bull run are we in? How much longer can we expect to make money before the music stops? This always happens, but are we already at the peak top of the euphoria, or are we halfway there, or are we still early? Let's look at the cycles. Number three, is it still a good idea to be buying altcoins now? Does altcoins outperform Bitcoin after this period? How do their cycles match up? And then number four, which altcoins should you be buying? Are there any real standout winners that I could clearly see? I, in fact, do think something right away is about to run. I'm going to show you. It's actually very obvious. And obviously, I'll give you my altcoin picks as usual for the top narratives, but I'm just going to be regurgitating all the altcoin content that we usually do. So that's going to be towards the very end. So the bull run is heating up and we have no time to waste. So let's get right into it. So welcome everyone. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 6 years, and I have invested in over 100 crypto startups. On this channel, I share views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. Now, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the chat section and we will do a Q&A at the very end. Okay, so first question, is the Bitcoin cycle top in? Is the Bitcoin price top in? Why? Let me adjust my thing here. Here we go. So Bitcoin has hit 100K, but I don't believe this is the top. I do believe Bitcoin can have a lot higher upside, at least in the next 6 months. Now, my long-term target has always been 200K as an average return that I will be happy enough with to take majority off the table. You can find this even way back in my videos from last year. So I made multiple targets of this based on diminishing returns of the cycles. You can check out a couple of videos here. So on the recording videos on the channel, you can check these two right here. So Bitcoin going to 200K and my complete investing plan. Now these were, why I believe Bitcoin will hit 200K by 2025. This is still pretty accurate, although the cycle is extending slightly further, but nonetheless, those targets are still the same. Now, 200K is somewhere that I will be very happy to exit at, but I do believe we have potential to go a lot higher. However, just today, 100K is nowhere close to my targets. So I'm going to make it very clear to you guys, like, I don't think this is late. Now, that might sound good, and especially if you're just coming into crypto now, you might think, oh wow, like I must be a genius, you know, I buy 100K, it goes to 150K, it goes to 200K. So you have to remember that while Bitcoin still has upside from here, you are certainly not early anymore. So how much more upside really is there? We are, in my opinion, near this thrill stage of the market. So think about what you are hearing and the kind of people that are just getting into Bitcoin and crypto now. These are the people that just saw the headlines of Bitcoin breaking 100K, saw that whole number, that barrier getting triggered. And literally yesterday, I was browsing like WeChat, right? My Chinese social media app. And even on that app, there were like alerts of channels that I follow that are nowhere close to like finance or crypto. And they even reported Bitcoin breaking 100K in US dollar, even though this is a Chinese media, right? So these are the people that are getting triggered now since mass media coverage is happening yesterday when Bitcoin broke 100K. And these are the people that are probably just going to buy no matter what. And since they are still not completely late in the euphoria stage, they'll buy some. And as long as they can hold for a couple months, they will start to feel very happy. They will think that somehow they're geniuses and They're all going to be rich. And right now, right, a lot of the discussion, even yesterday, I've heard my auntie groups, when they were meeting during dinner, they were talking about, oh, should you buy Bitcoin? Should you buy this coin or not? You got to buy more. You got to tell everyone else to buy. So we're certainly at the thrill stage. We are definitely not at the optimism belief stage where you have the long-term investors that are mainly the participants. Right now, we do have these market tourists coming back en masse. So we're certainly not early, but we're not clearly at the euphoria yet. But just remember, this is not early. So that begs the question, since we can expect maybe a 2x from here, at least a 2x from here, that's what I expect from Bitcoin, from going from 100K to 200K. Is that going to be easy? Well, think of it this way. There will be at least one other 20 to 30% crash. You can call it crash, you can call it correction, whatever, from now until the end of the run. Even before Bitcoin truly tops, there's going to be a major correction. Maybe it happens now. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 80K. Maybe it goes to 150K and then comes back down to 120. At some point, this will happen, at least at a 20% percentage. By getting in now, as far as I can see, that's going to be the biggest risk for most people if you're just purely talking about Bitcoin. So as long as you're prepared for mentally your target, if you want to just target 200K like me, you can get a pretty easy 2x from here. And you just have to be able to swallow a potential 20 to 30% drawdown sometime there on the way. So that sounds cool, okay? But to us, true crypto investors that's been around for 2 cycles, 3 cycles, that's pretty boring, okay? We're not here for 2x. And you might say, oh, wow, that means like I should start taking profits, right? If Bitcoin is only 2x away from the top, how much more profit can I have? Well, this only applies to Bitcoin because from this part of the cycle, this is where truly the next 6 months to up to 9 months, I would say, is my expectation. This is the period where altcoins and the true crypto bull run starts, where you can literally throw a dart on CoinMarketCap and that coin will run over the next 6 months as long as you hold it. I'm actually very confident in this, and that's why if you just want any takeaway and you don't even want to hear about other people's opinion, just pick up your favorite coin that you know of, you're somehow a big fan of it, you hold it for 6 months, you're going to be up, and probably more than 2x, because Bitcoin itself is going to do 2x. So that brings us to the number 2 question, which is, what part of the crypto cycle, crypto bull run are we in? And how much longer can we expect to make money easily before the music stops? I give it 6 to 9 months, but I just want to show you how I come to this estimate. So the clearest way we can look at is the last 2, even last 3 bull runs. So there's a couple, there are 3 main factors you can look at this, 3 types of cycles. So the first is very simple, the 4-year cycle based on Bitcoin halvings. I think that's mostly a meme, but you can consider those. So the easiest way to track our progress there is using the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator on TradingView. And very simple, all you got to look at is these color codings. So these color codings represent the number of months that has gone on since the last Bitcoin halving and how far away we are towards the next Bitcoin halving. So this directly maps out the 4-year cycle and how long we are in. So when you look at this, currently the color coding is about halfway through this like neon green, neon yellowish period. So that compares right now to about January 2021, and back here similar to June 2017, May to June 2017. So from these 2 points, you can even go back to the last point right here, and you take halfway period here, that's June 2013. So you can take these 3 cycle data points if you are a Bitcoin halving cycle maximalist. Then you look at this signal. Okay, 2013, from this point on till the end of the cycle, there was 180 days, 6 months period. In 2017, from this period till the end, there was 200 days. Again, another 6 months. And then in 2020 and 2021, we had the first peak about 100 days after. And then if you count the second peak, we even extended out to 10 months after. So if you are a Bitcoin cycle based on halving event maximalist, you can expect at least a 6 month bull run from here, even on Bitcoin. This is the first way to look at it. The second way is by looking at charts, by looking at, relatively speaking, how high is the price compared to previous cycles. This can directly map out the current price compared to the previous cycle high, where people were very euphoric, and also compared to the cycle lows, where people were very negative. They were very fearful. So the easiest way to visualize this is with these like rainbow indicators. Now, the way I like to use this is not to use them for price predictions, because some people say, oh, you should sell and you should target with these reds. But this indicator alone has been readjusted twice already over the past 2 runs, because the cycle tops, if it goes above the previous cycle high, they add a new color on top. And if it goes below the cycle bottom, they add a new color on the bottom. So that part is not relevant so much to predict price. But this does give us a sentiment check based on current price versus what people perceive to be high point in the cycle versus low point in the cycle, based on how high current price is. The easiest way you can do this is, again, on TradingView, you can map this out. And looking at right here, the current price at 98,000. Yesterday, we broke above 100K. We are at basically the middle of the band here, this light green band again. And if you look at a similar price point from 2021 cycle, based on the market confidence, depending on price, this translates to roughly December 2018 when we were at 30K-ish. And then down here in 2017, this kind of translates to August 2017 when we were at around $5,000 on Bitcoin's rally. So then you can also even look at 2013, but again, I'm not gonna keep looking at 2013 because you see these cycles were way too early. I think the 2 best data points are 2017 and 2021. So these 2 points, then you can map from the color to the top. So you see here in 2017, we had 100 days of more rally on Bitcoin. And back here, from this color code to the top, to the first top, we were about 100 days. And to the second top, we were about 300 days. So again, we are looking at between 4 to 10 months. Okay, that's wide range, but again, you just gotta have to look at what the data tells us. This is the second way to look at it. If you don't prefer, like to use time, then you can use price. And then the third way, there's also a little bit of a price action because we just broke above 100K, that psychological level. So you can also say, okay, 100K could act as, for example, 10K, right? What did Bitcoin do? How did people feel when Bitcoin broke above 10K for the first time? And that happened in back here, November 2017. This is a case to be made that Bitcoin could be very close to the top. This is the only way to look at it that gives this signal. So if you really believe we are very, very close to the top, then the only way to argue for that is you are very much thinking that 100K is a huge psychological number, and that triggers the blow off top somehow. This did happen by the end of 2017. And even in that case, right, look, when Bitcoin broke 10K for the first time, the cycle still extended for another 20 days. So if you're in this camp, maybe Bitcoin tops out in 20 days. And the only way this could happen is Bitcoin goes from 100K directly to 200K in the next 3 weeks. If this actually happens, I might agree with you. That would be absolutely crazy, right? Then we could be potentially looking at a 2017 scenario where everything goes insane very quickly. But if Bitcoin starts to consolidate, and let's say Bitcoin just like trends sideways at 100K for even 1 month, then this whole thing is going to be invalidated, this scenario. So I don't think this is that likely. And then the last way to look at it is with the Federal Reserve's balance sheet and the global liquidity cycle. And that actually gives an even longer cycle estimate because what we're seeing right now is that the Federal Reserve has not started to increase their balance sheet yet. So here is the Federal Reserve's balance sheet chart. Right now, that sits at $6.9 trillion. And the signal on this is that whenever the Federal Reserve announces a Fed monetary policy pivot, they start buying assets instead of selling assets, this will start to trend up. And that has accurately predicted the start of the last 2 bull markets and the end of the last 2 bear markets. If you want the full deep dive on this, you can check out my video from one month ago called Altcoin Season Starts in 1 Month, Here's Why. And I compared global liquidity and the Federal Reserve balance sheet chart versus Bitcoin chart and versus the Bitcoin dominance chart to show this signal. So the TLDR here is that if we follow truly what global liquidity is doing, technically the bull run hasn't even started. So this could be a X factor. Maybe this plays out that way. So maybe this is even just a warm up to the bull run. We could hope, right? I don't want to get everyone's hopes up too much. We have to watch and see what happens here. And the main thing here you need to watch is basically the next FOMC meeting on December 17th and January 31st. So during one of these 2 meetings, if the Fed comes out and announces a Federal Reserve balance sheet pivot where they start buying assets, we're going to see the Federal Reserve balance sheet start to trend up. This is essentially how the Federal Reserve will start printing money, and and then they can use that money to buy up treasury bonds and mortgage-backed securities, and all of that will trickle down into risk-on assets. So I don't want to go too deep in that because technically speaking, we are already starting the bull run quite clearly. So this could just add on the fuel if it happens. Okay. So these are the 3 factors we got to consider, which is if you consider the 4-year cycle timing, if you consider the Bitcoin price, how high or low it is compared to previous cycles, all of the indicators tell us together that we are looking at the shortest time frame is about 1 month if Bitcoin literally shoots up to 200K right away. The longest time frame is about 300 days from current point before the cycle tops. That's kind of my estimate range. Now, that is a big range, okay? And I know what some people will say, oh, like you're just saying like we're in a bull run, but it could end at any time. Yes, this is how you have to prepare. Anyone that tells you, oh, the bull run is going to end in March, in April, in May, they're throwing random numbers out. How I'm preparing right now is this. So I'm sticking to my same plan that I have had last year, and I laid it out on another live stream from November last year, basically 1 year ago. So here's a summary of my exit plan. I know that there is a period between now until at max 1 year from now. So before December 2025, let's say November 2025. Within this period, what are my trigger targets? Number one is if Bitcoin hits 200K and if Ethereum hits 15K, if both of these conditions meet together, that's going to be my signal to exit. Now, I'm going to show you why I have to include Ethereum there in a bit. Number two trigger is that if everything just kind of trends okay, I'm still going to exit by the end of 2025 because that will have been a plenty of bull run. Usually the bull runs don't last that long. And number three is if Bitcoin breaks its long-term trend, such as it breaking the 200-day EMA support or the 21 EMA support, or if it makes a lower high and lower low structure, then that means the price trend has been broken, the uptrend has been broken, and then that's my signal to exit. So what that could look like is something like this. Here is the Bitcoin chart, and the 30-day blow off top kind of scenario, very unlikely, is like this. Okay, where Bitcoin straight away shoots up to 200K, and then if it trends sideways here, I'm still not going to exit. But if it breaks down and forms lower high and lower low, a lower low and lower high, this is going to be my trigger. And when this happens, what you'll likely see is that the exponential moving average on a 200-day basis, this blue average line, this is going to trend higher and higher and follow, but somewhere near here, it's going to get broken below, and this is going to be my sell signal for the bull market. Now, am I saying this is going to happen this month? No. Nobody knows, okay? Whether it will happen this month, very unlikely. Next month, very unlikely. My expected range is about 6 months from now. And I'm going to show you in a bit why I believe, the bull run is not going to end very soon. But this kind of scenario could happen anytime over next year. So with that being the base case, okay, I'm looking at from now until 10 months from now, October, November-ish 2025, like this, next 300 days or so. The second consideration you need to watch out for is this. So when Bitcoin hits its top, let's say Bitcoin hits 200K, okay? And let's say Bitcoin tops out at 200K. That's not going to be the only signal that I'm looking for to sell all my altcoins, because when the bull run starts, Bitcoin tends to go parabolic first and trigger the kind of mass retail flooding in like what we see right now since it broke above 100K. But this is only the beginning stage of the true altcoin bull run. Usually the altcoin bull runs will lag behind the Bitcoin cycle top by at least 3 to 4 months. And I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so this brings us to the third question that I laid out in the beginning, which is it still a good idea to be buying altcoins now? And the answer here is absolutely yes. So let me show you a couple ways to look at this. The three main metrics you need to watch out for a altcoin cycle is the Bitcoin dominance. This is the number one metric that people look at for altcoin season. Ethereum's performance versus Bitcoin, because it's the largest altcoin by far. And then also the other altcoins outside of the top 10. So the wider altcoins, the ones that are very speculative, how they are performing against Bitcoin. So I have these three charts right here, and I'm going to show it to you very clearly here. So first we have Bitcoin dominance. Here are the two previous bull runs as indicated by Bitcoin dominance. So right here, as I've circled out in red, this is November 2017-ish. So in November 2017, basically was when Bitcoin broke above 10K. Remember, it broke above that psychological level. And even when Bitcoin peaked 3 weeks after that, from 10K to 20K, it's literally a blow off top on Bitcoin. Look at what happened to Bitcoin dominance. Starting from November 2017, this altcoin run lasted another 80 days. So even if Bitcoin shoots up from 100K right now to 200K, we're still going to see the altcoin season from now last for at least 2.5 months. So that's why, like that's the most conservative estimate you can have, is that altcoins are nowhere near their top yet. We have at least another 2 to 3 months, even if Bitcoin literally goes vertical and shows a blow off top. Okay, so this is 2017 where we had a Bitcoin blow off top. Then when we look at 2020, here is where Bitcoin really started this thrill stage. So take a look at here. I remember we had the Bitcoin rainbow chart pointing us to around, this is the part of the cycle we're at. And also with Bitcoin rainbow wave, this is the point of the cycle we're at. So from this point until the top, until the first top, and then until the second top, this point we're talking about beginning of January 2021. And look at Bitcoin dominance. December 28, 2020, if you count right here, January 4, January 11, 2021, until the first peak, not even this later peak, right? Until the first peak, we had 4 months of altcoin season where Bitcoin dominance was going down. This doesn't get clearer than that. And down here, we're talking about May 2021. Even if you got in late, what happened last cycle was that this altcoin season actually lasted even longer. So during this period, from May until even January 2022, if you were very experienced in the market, you were still making money. If you were rotating from DeFi to layer ones, and then from layer ones to gaming, and then later on to like the DeFi Ponzi's again, you still made money. Technically, this was still altcoin season before eventually Bitcoin dominance started to trend up again. This was when truly all the altcoins gave their returns back. So at least according to the 2021 cycle run, we're going to have a 4 months long out season, at least, okay? So this is what Bitcoin dominance shows us. And that's why up here on Bitcoin dominance, what I'm looking at is at least for us to have this alt season lasting until March next year. Now, I did not expect this alt season to start prematurely, okay? Look at this little squiggly line that I drew up here. So I expected us to go into December for the next FOMC meeting before this clearly gets triggered. This squiggly line, although random, was what I drew on the last live stream. Yeah, here. 3 weeks ago when I was looking at the Bitcoin dominance compared to how the FOMC events play out. So since it didn't play out on November 6th and November 7th, I expected it to play out on December 17th to trigger the main altcoin season. But clearly, we are already starting that. Okay, so this is Bitcoin dominance. TLDR here is that we are at least going to have a 4 month long Bitcoin dominance related alt season. Now, there are a couple other ways to look at this. Bitcoin dominance only gives us the length expectation for how long the altcoins can run. So you can't really say, oh, Bitcoin dominance is going to drop this much or this much or this much. These numbers are not that useful, okay? It only is able to tell us how long the alt season lasts. But we can use 2 other charts to show this. So first is Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. So Ethereum versus Bitcoin is super interesting right now. In fact, I had this chart drawn for like, I don't know how long, like probably 2-3 months now. So Ethereum is finally starting to show strength versus Bitcoin. If you really zoom in here, inverse head and shoulders, breaking above neckline on a 4-hour and a daily time frame. Honestly, just got to watch this to make a new higher low. And I think we could see actually macro reversal on Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. Now, the only way that this can happen is if we get the major altcoin season. So the useful thing to look at on Ethereum versus Bitcoin is how much returns can we have on altcoins overall. So remember, on the during the last bull run in 2020, remember from this exact same period that we had on Bitcoin dominance right here, January 2021, and then January 2021, I'm going to circle that right here. So this point is the same as this point, and it's the same as this point. From this point until the end of the run, Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin by 2.5x. So Ethereum price went up 3.5x versus Bitcoin. And if you match that to current price, I don't think Ethereum is going to do nearly as much as this. But even if it just goes back to these previous cycle tops around 0.08 as ratio, and then you take that from current ETH-BTC ratio of 0.039, this gives us a 2x outperformance of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So this means if Bitcoin goes up 2x from current price to 200K, Ethereum should do a 4x return if Bitcoin does a 2x. Okay, so this is my expectation for Ethereum from this point on. I know a lot of people have given up on ETH, but I really think this is the time to be getting back into ETH because this same rotation has happened in the past 2 cycles. Now, I went back to my bull run strategy video that I made last year, and actually I'm pretty surprised at how well these targets have played out. Because look at this. So my price trigger is for Bitcoin to hit 200K. But at the same time, I expect Ethereum to hit 15K in order for me to be saying that the altcoin bull run has also ended. Why is that? So if Bitcoin hits 200K, that means Bitcoin has done a 2x from here. But if Ethereum hits 15K, that means we are looking at 15,000 divided by current price of Ethereum at 3,800. That means Ethereum has essentially done exactly 4x. So I don't exactly remember if this is how I did the math, but basically this is my mental model. Ethereum versus Bitcoin ratio should be about a 2x if the bull run truly kicks off. So if Bitcoin does 2x, Ethereum should do 4x. And that's why my exit target is dependent on both Bitcoin hitting 200K and Ethereum hitting 15K. Because if both of these scenarios play out, what that will tell me is that, okay, Bitcoin did something like this, where just like last cycle, it went up, whether it's a blow off top or it consolidates for a while. And at the same time, Ethereum versus Bitcoin ratio goes pretty crazy. And then over that period, Ethereum price outperforms Bitcoin by 2x. And by the end of that run, look at where Ethereum topped near November to December 2021. And if you exited the market here, this was very optimal because look at Bitcoin dominance. December, November 2021, we're looking at basically down here. This would have been a great exit. And then you look at others versus others performance during this period, right November, December, right here. Basically, you would exit just before other altcoins peaked. So the summary here is that by using both Bitcoin and Ethereum as a exit plan, if Ethereum still manages to outperform Bitcoin, that means most other altcoins would have already had their major altcoin run already. This is what gives me a lot of confidence in my strategy here. Even if Bitcoin goes up, like shoots up to 100K just next month, I don't think Ethereum is going to shoot up to 15K. It's going to be a bit slower, but once that happens, I'm going to call it a day. Okay, so that's my strategy based on Ethereum hitting 15K on top of Bitcoin hitting 200K. Now, one other way you could play this is that what if Bitcoin goes higher from current price? What if somehow this is like a even bigger institutional driven run? I'm not expecting that. I'm not adjusting my target. I'm just saying if somehow Bitcoin goes to 300K, well, then my target for Ethereum still has to be adjusted up, because what I want to see peak out is for Ethereum versus BTC ratio to peak. So that means if Bitcoin somehow makes its way to 300K over the next 6 months, then I'm going to expect Ethereum to do a 6x from current price to reach $23,000. I don't think that's likely to happen because I don't think Bitcoin itself is going to 300K. But I'm saying if Bitcoin actually does that, then Ethereum should do higher multiples as well. Okay, just keep that in mind. So this, my exit strategy here, if Bitcoin somehow hits much higher, then I need to also adjust my Ethereum target higher, because that ratio is pretty accurate as the final signal for the end of the bull run, for the end of the altcoin bull run. Okay, finally, others BTC chart. This is even more interesting here. So what kind of returns can you expect on most other altcoins outside of the top 10 versus Bitcoin? I have done multiple videos on this. You can check out my the most in-depth one is actually this one, the portfolio strategy one. I gave the estimates for large cap, mid cap, and low cap altcoins for their expected returns. So the TLDR here is that over the last cycle, from the very start of the bull run in the beginning of 2021 until the end by December 2021, January 2022, other altcoins outside of the top 10 has done a 6x return on top of Bitcoin. That is the absolute top that you should expect for your altcoins to do. So funny enough, if you draw a parallel, let's say uptrending channel, whatever you have it, this is mostly a meme, this will map out to about the same. So let's say sometime mid to late 2025, from the bottom to the top, about a 6x return. So 5x increase or 6x return on others versus BTC ratio. So if Bitcoin does a 2x from here, your mid-cap altcoins should be doing 12x at maximum. Okay, maximum. Is this my expectation? I don't think so. This is very optimistic. I'm expecting more like this. So if you count back here, so look at this one right here. This is the 2017 rally. If you think we are near the cycle top, let's say we are right around here, and if you follow the doctrine of 100K is the new 10K because that's psychological level, and we are near the end of the bull run, then let's say we are close to November 2017. And then you look at others versus BTC ratio, take us to November 2017, somewhere here. Even from this point until the top, other altcoins outside of the top 10 has done a 180% increase or 2.8x on top of Bitcoin's performance from November 17 until, what is this top here? April 30th, 2018. So this means at the very, very least, your average altcoin in the mid cap outside of the top 10 should be doing 2.8x on top of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up 2x, your average altcoin should be doing 5.6x. So between 5 to 6x. That's actually conservative. So I'm not just saying this. I'm not saying, oh, like, you know, you can easily make a 5x just because. This is the kind of numbers we should be expecting. So if you have an altcoin portfolio and if you are dabbling and if you are like pretty active in mid caps, you know, investing outside of the top 10, top 20 altcoins, you need to target at least a 5x return on your portfolio of that mid cap section. If you don't manage to hit that, you have drastically underperformed in this market. So this kind of is the summary of the number 3 question. Is it still a good idea to buy altcoins now? The answer is absolutely yes, based on the timing of the cycle we are in right now, because we are roughly in this range and this range. And from that period, over the last 2 cycles, we have at least a 3 months long altcoin bull run. And in 2021, that was a 4 month long altcoin bull run. And if you count the entirety of that second peak, then we have potentially a 10-month long altcoin bull run. And the expected return in all those cases is Ethereum. If you are just holding Ethereum from here, you need to aim for 4x. If you are holding maybe Solana, you should aim for 4x. Anything in the top 10, I would say a 4x is a good target. Anything outside of the top 10, especially top 20, anything below there, you need to aim for 5 to 6x average return. You could be potentially getting 10x more, but you got to be pretty lucky. That is a quantitative way to answer the question, is it still a good idea to buy altcoins now? The answer is yes. But is it like, you know, like I can buy anything, I hit a 20x? The answer is no. Can I buy Ethereum and hit a 10x? The answer is no. You know, can I buy top 10 altcoins and hit a 10x? The answer is no. What is the maximum potential you can hit in terms of multiples by buying, you know, just the top 10 altcoins? Probably 5 to 6x. If Bitcoin overshoots its target of 2x, then you could be looking at a 5 to 6x. I still think those are good ideas, good multiples to be investing into altcoins now. And these returns are going to be quite easy to make because, like we have shown on the charts here, the altcoin season is literally just starting. No matter what Bitcoin does over this next period, it shoots up, it consolidates, or it slowly grinds up, altcoins will run. Very clear. So this is not the period to be saying, oh, like I look at Bitcoin, it's pretty high, so I want to sell my altcoins. No. When Bitcoin goes high, this is when you got to be very aggressively rotating into altcoins. As long as you have this kind of a plan beforehand. When you look at, you have a Bitcoin target, you have a altcoin versus Bitcoin either ratio target or ETH BTC ratio target, and then you have a time frame for how long this bull run can last, the maximum length you are willing to hold your coins, and also a trigger point for when Bitcoin breaks below market structure, breaks below 200-day EMA, 21-week EMA, makes a lower high. If you have all of these things considered, then the best strategy right now is to go very heavy into altcoins. This is the time to do it. So yes, it is a very, very good time to be buying altcoins right now. Okay, so last but not least, just a very quick recap. Which altcoins should you be buying? In my opinion, Ethereum is complete no-brainer right now. Hugely undervalued. I would be very surprised if Ethereum doesn't do at least 3x from here. I think there's like no chance that Ethereum doesn't go to 10K from here. It's like even 12K. If Ethereum doesn't go to 12K, something is fundamentally wrong. I'm targeting 15K for Ethereum. I think that's totally reasonable. Some people will say, oh, look at like Solana, like look at how much Solana has outrun Ethereum. Yes, because Solana was very cheap in the bear market. Solana was super beat down versus Ethereum in the bear market. Here is the chart of Solana versus Ethereum. Look at all of this trend down from November 2021 when Solana peaked out until June 2023 when Solana bottomed out. So am I saying, Ethereum is going to outperform Solana? I'm not sure if that's what I would predict here. I would say whatever Ethereum does, Solana probably will do similar from this point. So I'm expecting both Ethereum and Solana to do 3 to 4x at least. So I think Solana is also a good bet, very no-brainer bet. But I wouldn't only buy Solana or only buy Ethereum right now. You need to have both. I think both of these will outperform Bitcoin very, very easily from here. Now, one of the most promising things that only Ethereum has is that Ethereum is the truly retail altcoin. Okay, what I mean by that is everyone that have heard of crypto, whether that's retail audience, institution, hedge fund, corporate treasury, billionaire, millionaire, developer, whatever, right? Ethereum is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Very simple. That is the clearest bottom left curve bet on Bitcoin's beta now. So there are so many people that know two coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum. You might argue, oh, maybe they want to buy XRP or they want to buy Solana. These are like much more niche communities. You have to remember this. How many people actually know XRP versus Ethereum? I don't think many more people know XRP versus Ethereum. And how many people actually consider Ethereum versus XRP versus Solana, etc.? Especially when you consider Solana, like, yes, Gen Z, meme coin audience, they know Solana, but everyone that knows Solana knows Ethereum also. Everyone that don't know Solana, also a lot of them know Ethereum. And the best thing happening for Ethereum right now is coming from institutions. So take a look at this. The inflow of the Ethereum ETFs is super interesting of a signal. So compared to the US Bitcoin spot ETF, obviously, you can say, oh, billions of dollars have come in. But I think there are two interesting signals here. So first one is that since launch, even since this summer, right, all the institutions have been buying Bitcoin through the ETFs very clearly. But when you consider Ethereum and its spot ETF, this spot ETF launched already in July, but it had basically no inflow up until right here on November 5th. What happened on November 6th? Trump won the elections. And right after that, huge amount of inflow started to come in. And in fact, we had 2 days already on November 10th and on November 28th, where the daily inflow of Ethereum ETFs in the US have gotten above the daily inflow of Bitcoin ETFs in the US. Now, this doesn't mean institutions prefer Ethereum over Bitcoin. No, that's not going to happen. But this clearly triggered something. And I think it's a combination of the US, since Trump came into won the elections, and people know that the US is going to have more clear regulation towards crypto and friendly regulation. The easiest bet there is that Ethereum with its staking with smart contracts is going to get positively regulated. Ethereum as a commodity status is going to be fully enforced. Ethereum staking is going to be turned back to be okay, to be legal. And you don't have to take my word for it for the rhetoric. The money speaks for itself. Why would institutions on Wall Street not buy Ethereum at all for 3.5 months, and then suddenly, right after the elections, they start buying Ethereum? No other way to explain it, right? That's the first thing. The second is that even though we only had positive inflows on Ethereum for 1 month, from November 6th until today, December 5th, already we have $12 billion of total assets that have come into Ethereum ETFs. And this has taken up 2.6% of Ethereum's market cap. This is very significant because on the Bitcoin ETFs, even though you have 9 times more assets in these ETFs, that takes up 5.5% of Bitcoin's market cap. So because Ethereum has much lower market cap than Bitcoin, the reflexivity of the institutional inflow to Ethereum is much greater. So just over the last month, 2.6% of Ethereum's supply has been bought up by institutions over 1 month. So if this buying demand continues, you can kind of, again, I don't like to just use random numbers and say it's big, but if these inflows continue, and let's say we have, I need to do another estimate. So, okay, so napkin math in my mind right here, okay? The Bitcoin ETF has had positive inflow since, what is this? Let's say July 5th. So that's been 5 months. So each month, on average, there has been 1.1% of Bitcoin's market cap that's been picked up by institutions. Versus Ethereum, just in 1 month, there was 2.6% of the market cap that were absorbed by institutions. How much longer does it take before Ethereum is more driven by institutions versus Bitcoin? Not going to be much longer. Just 2 months, 2 more months, right? If we have the same type of inflow, the Ethereum spot ETF will control over 7.8% of the total market cap if we have similar levels of inflow. And on Bitcoin, 1.1% per month of same average inflow, that will bring us to 7.8%. So this really shows you the reflexivity of Ethereum's price versus Bitcoin as the institutions come in. The institutions do not need to buy more Ethereum versus Bitcoin in order to pump Ethereum price faster than Bitcoin because Ethereum is so much smaller in market cap. And this is why we see, again, Ethereum versus BTC chart. If you look at daily, right here, ignore my squiggly line here. But since November 6th, right here, after Trump won, basically started to consolidate sideways. And if the institutions continue to buy more, we're going to see the reflexivity of Ethereum really start to pick up, where they're buying, even if they're buying similar amounts of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, ETH BTC ratio will go up because Ethereum is a smaller asset than Bitcoin. And also you look at Ethereum USD, this is super clearly driven by institutional buying. Right on the day of November 6th, right here, on this daily candle alone, Ethereum started to break out. This, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but this tells me that institutions are clearly driving Ethereum now. And you only have Ethereum in this bucket. No other cryptocurrency has an ETF yet. Sure, we might have a Solana ETF. We might have an XRP ETF. But until those are even approved and then listed, it's at least a few months away. Until that happens, you're not going to have similar types of institutional demand driving Ethereum versus the other altcoins. And this is the most important thing that only Ethereum has as an altcoin that gives it the same appeal to Bitcoin versus all other cryptos that do not have this. So this is super cool. And this is why I really believe now more than ever is the time to pick up Ethereum. And you can obviously compare it to previous all-time high and say, oh, Ethereum is still not at previous all-time high at 4.8K, even though Bitcoin is way above previous all-time high. So Ethereum is undervalued. And maybe you draw some squiggly lines back here and you say, oh, like Ethereum is kind of like buying Bitcoin at 65,000, whatever, right? Like you can do that. Whatever floats your boat and gets you to buy some ETH. But yeah, I think if you are looking for a surefire bet right now, it's to buy ETH. So yeah, I'm heavily buying ETH from current point and targeting a 4x, and can't complain if I make 4x on my entire portfolio. I mean, that's huge. Over 6 to 9 months, I'll take that any day of the week. Okay, that's basically it. And then other altcoins, I mean, while you buy ETH, you should buy SOL. SOL is pretty clear. And last but not least, we don't have too much time to talk about the altcoins, but if you want my altcoin picks and if you want to know which type of altcoins you should be targeting, so I have so many different altcoin videos. Each of my videos talking about my crypto portfolio will cover the exact same 5 narratives that I have seen to be strongest in this bull run. These are layer 1s, gaming, AI, meme coins, and RWA. These are the 5 narratives that have shown strength in the beginning of this year when Bitcoin first made its rally. So these are the only 5 narratives I'm focusing on. And all my picks are in my updated portfolio. I make portfolio update videos every month. You can check it out here. And you can also follow my portfolio tracking sheet in the link in the description. And if you want an explainer on these 5 narratives, I made a few different narrative analysis as well. So you can check this video out. Best altcoins for 2025. You see like there are 3 narratives covered here. Gaming, AI, meme. The other 2 is in that video as well. You can also look at this right here. I also cover same 5 narratives. And this one right here. Same 5 narratives right in this video. So as long as you target these 5 narratives, you're good. You don't need much more. You don't need to dabble in like 10 different things. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then these 5 narratives. Find the top altcoins, hold them for 6 months-ish. Hopefully we can have the bull run last 9 to 10 months. Sell for at least 3 to 4x on Ethereum and Solana. And then other altcoins, try to target 5 to 6x for large to mid caps. Low caps, you should try to target 10x plus, and that's it. So thank you guys for joining the live stream. If you found this helpful, share this video with a friend. If you want my quick alpha before these long videos, you should follow me on Twitter or X at VirtualBacon0x, especially for my portfolio updates and new launches, day-to-day trading stuff. A lot of stuff needs to happen on Twitter X first because I can't make like daily videos. So just check it out on X, Twitter. My portfolio updates are directly when I make them, I post them there. And also, if you're looking for a trading community, you should go on the Coiners. This is our free trading community where you can join over, I believe, 1,800 VIP members now. You can chat, you can talk with people, join our private live streams. We have signals, we have trading competitions. You can ask questions. And if you are an expert trader, if you're a whale, you can also sign up to our pro trader program where we have a one-on-one support for you. So if you are looking for a specific exchange, looking to reach out to them, if you need to dive into tokenomics research for specific coins, we have a 24/7, literally just Telegram chat that you can talk to with me directly, only for whales, only for pro traders, experts. So sign up. Both of the links will be in the description. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for joining, and I will see you on the next video.